Hey troops. Um, just me again. Just Today I'm wearing a hat because I had some feedback that I needed a haircut, which I'm not denying. I definitely need a haircut. Just the next time I leave the flat. Um, so this time I'm wearing a hat to hide it. Thanks, guys. So basically today I'm focusing on regret and what the biggest waste of time is and I found is regret. Now I'm going to start with growing up as a kid, basic. And when I say growing up as a kid, I'm going to start with um, when we decided to sell the house and hit the road as gypsies, and I mean that in a literal sense. We had a gypsy caravan. You'll probably Google it later. It's basically a caravan, and then it's got an arch, so it looks like it goes onto the back of a ute, which is, well, if you're American, a pickup truck. And so it looks very weird on the road. Um, yeah, so when we were growing up, we were I used to be really naughty and drink my mum's port, which you'll probably also Google that later, um, which is a alcoholic drink. And then I used to like measure it with my thumb on the bottle, and then I'd fill it back up with water so she wouldn't know. She said that she did, but um, but anyway. So these days they call that being a little shit. But growing up on that lifestyle, we didn't have a concept of time. So we didn't know the value of time. Basically, there was no schedule to adhere to other than the Australian wildlife schedule. And to put that into words, that Australia is a hot place, but it's also where the devil's pets are kept. So pretty much everything in Australia can kill you. Um, and I actually got a list to go through snakes. I mean, well, we got the most deadliest of snakes in the world. Spiders, much the same. Sharks, crocodiles, scorpions, cassowaries. You'll probably Google that later if you're not Australian. Um, Even fucking ants, fire ants. Wait till you've got a bunch of them crawling up your leg. Now that puts a whole new concept to a little shit. Uh, so, I think that's the rest of my list. Yeah, anyway. So I thought, you know what? It got to a point where I was in a job, and there was a lot of plane crashes around the time, and I thought, this is when I moved out and I was living on my own, and I thought, where could I move legally that's the coldest that I can get? So the next day I woke up and I saw on Facebook there was this ad, and it said, immigrate to London, immigrate to the UK. And I thought, fuck that, I'm going a step further and I'm going to go to Scotland. So I started packing, even though I hadn't submitted my visa or even applied for it, because I had only just woken up. I started packing, um, and decided to move to Scotland. Um, and, you know, when it comes to regrets, I realized that there's no greater loss of time than regret. So, you know, I did that on a whim, and also because there was family and work dramas happening at the time, and that also fueled the fire. Um, Fueled the fire. That's a saying we use in Australia because, well, Australia's usually on fire. I mean, I don't mean to laugh about it, but like, it's the truth. It's always on the news. I don't watch the news anymore. Yeah, but at the time there was a lot of plane crashes happening around the world, and part of my job was I was a medical case manager, and I had to respond to people, Australians affected overseas. Um, and at the time, so like I had my visa booked, got my visa approved. That day, I remember that day very clearly. It was so happy. I was so happy that day. And my flights got booked, so I decided to break the news to my family. And of course, my family didn't believe me. My mum didn't believe me. My sisters didn't believe me. Neither my stepdad. Um, so they had all decided to come around to my house, into the shared house. That was the first time they ever visited me, and demanded to see the ticket. So I showed them the ticket, and they couldn't believe it. And so yeah, I ended up moving to Glasgow. Now, you may ask why. Um, Glasgow used to be the most dangerous city in the world, crime wise. But that's all changed now. But it's the accent that really gets you. But I'll be covering Scotland in my next segment. So basically, I'm just playing it section by section here. So in my next segment, I'll be talking about my transition from Australia to Scotland. Now, we're going from 40 degree heat to anywhere up to down to minus 15. So if you want to know, the point today is about, like, there's no greater waste of time than living in regret. And taking a chance getting on that bus could be the very thing that keeps you alive. There's nothing worse than living a life with, nothing to live for. So that's it for me, guys. I'll sign off for now, and the next segment, I'm gonna be, I'm not a millennial, but I'm gonna say it. Hit like and subscribe to my channel in the link below. I don't know if there's a link yet. I'm still working this out, but just share the video. That's all I ask at this point. Just getting started. Thanks. Catch you guys. Love ya.